So how do you rate the team now, Perry Reeve, and everybody around you and everything? So it looks like one big happy family.
Oh, it's amazing. The humans in the test. I keep saying that's what won the championship last year, because there was not, after 4 years of winning, there was not once at the beginning of last year that I feel like the finger being pointed at me, or it's always the easiest to blame the rider, or he's had enough, the motivation's gone, or the family, or anything, where I really felt them picking me up. Come on, listen, we can do this. Keep working, and next week's going to be fine. Blah blah blah. And Perry just understands it. He gets me as a person. Don't get me wrong. I mean, we butt heads now and again.
Oh, well, that's
about,
natural. Yeah.
Sometimes, he's very. He knows how the bike should be. He knows how I ride, and sometimes. If I'm not giving him the information he needs to make the necessary changes. I mean, we've had little hissy fits in the past, but nothing, we don't get straight over, and we iron out for the next session. But generally, I walk away from that garage knowing the next time I come back, he'll have made a better setup, a better bike, and I don't tend to question anything he does, which is good. But it's not just Perry, it's built with a whole load of staff. I've got 6 guys that work directly with me in that team, and they're all amazing humans. I love hanging out with them as much away from the track as I do at the track. So that ambience is great. I think the biggest thing going forward into this year, just keeping that continuity of there's no new staff, we know each other, we know what to do in tough moments. We certainly know how to celebrate in good moments. So just keeping that little band together is awesome.
Yeah. Do you still get as much buzz on the start of a race at the grid than?
Honestly, I get nervous at the start of races, and I like being in my own little bubble. I don't like talking on the grid. My mechanics never talk to me. Perry never talks to me. Oh, if there's an issue, for example, sometimes it's a mental thing on my outlap. I might feel the brakes binding a bit, or some phantom feeling, if you like, and I'll report that as soon as I get back. But after that, pretty much everybody knows my timings. When Kev's always there with my drink spot, and we have like a routine and we go through, if you like. But there's never words spoke. We never really speak words. And Yuri, my chief mechanic, before he leaves the grid, he always gives me some words, something. I don't reply because my helmet's on, the engine started, but normally it's a motivational sentence or whatever, and he always manages to say the right thing, because it's so easy in that position to say the wrong thing, or be asked the wrong question, or have the wrong guest come up to you and say something stupid. Because nowadays the grid is a big part of marketing. There's a lot of sponsors on there.
Yeah.
There's VIPs walking around, yourself, and it's always easy to get a negative input in the grid, whether it be or an input, not directed to be negative, but in your head. So I just tend to like to be in my own little bubble, and so whilst it looks like I'm super serious and I'm staring into what looks like nothing, I'm just in my own little world, and generally not thinking anything. Sometimes I've been numb sometimes in the grid, thinking, what am I thinking about? And I'm not thinking about nothing. And then generally the last sort of 30 seconds, I'll visualize the perfect start, close my eyes and just visualize getting to turn 1 with a hole shot, and go over that routine in my head a bit. And then it's warm-up time.
But you don't have the music on, you just...
No, I think music sometimes, because music's quite, for me it's quite, feels quite connected to music, and sometimes depending on the song, you can have a go-to song that works for you, but depending on the song you get, influence your mood, if you like.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be influenced. Sometimes I listen to such odd music as well. I just like being quiet in my own little world, and then it's time to go. So not one of these that needs to warm up and get hyped up or listen to music to get in the zone. Just nice and quiet does the trick.
Well, it's only a couple of days before 2020 kicks off. You said you're nervous. Do you get more nervous after the long break?
It's more excited nervousness for the first round, because you get so excited. But I get the same nerves every race weekend, whether it's the first round or the last. Just this one's special because it starts the year, so there's a lot of question marks. There's a lot of hype. There's a lot of expectation, and just try and channel all that and make it positive and see what you can do. But yeah, it's a good one, especially being at Phillip Island, because generally this time of year in Europe, weather's terrible. So they come here and we have, generally it's the middle of summer, we have good weather, loads of fans out there, and there's not much better place to be staring down the barrel of T1, you know, in February, late February, and starting the World Superbike season. So can't wait to start.
Scotty Redding coming in this year.
I mean, he's got great CV. Genuinely, he was one of Marquez's biggest rivals in Moto2. I know Scott, he seems like a really good lad. I follow him on social media. He seems like super cool.
Yeah, he's a good bloke.
He seems young, you know, and I think he's exactly what Superbike needs. But big boots to fill, you know. He's jumping onto a seat that's proven race winner. And what Alvaro did last year sort of set the benchmark for that. So I fully expect Scott to do the same. He's super talented. He's been in BSB for a year learning the tyres we run, learning the V4 Ducati.
Yeah.
So he's not coming here to piss around. He's coming to do a good job. I respect them all because they're all there because they're good. You know, it's a world championship.
Yeah.
But yeah, generally the general classification at the end of the season is enough to know who's who. But in saying that, I know I really rate a lot of riders that aren't on competitive machinery. You know, a guy that's probably not fulfilled his whole potential because he's hasn't had the best opportunities. Leon Camier, super talented guy. There's loads of guys sat on super competitive bikes that haven't done much with them. But that's the same in any motorcycle or auto sport championship there is. But I'm clever enough to understand the super talented ones and respect them as well. You know, there's a lot of guys that can genuinely be front-running guys, and I just hope to be one of them, you know, because you never know.
That's the thing about life.
You know, that's why I've tried to enjoy every championship I've had and every race win, because it might be your last.
Yeah.
And so yeah, let's see. Let's hope I can stack up. I believe I can.
All right, mate. Thanks for joining us, and let's talk motorsport, and all the best for the year and many years to come.
Cheers, man.